And I'm so curious to find out the outcome of this episode. I really don't know what it's gonna be.
Oh yes,
Man,
keeping you on your feet, which I love to do. That's what's so good about this show, especially when there's a new episode where well, obviously you've watched this before. I haven't, so it was weird to go into an episode that wasn't like the Flux or a Jodie season. That I had an episode I hadn't seen before. This was kind of new and fresh and quite interesting. So it was good. It was good to go into something like this.
For those of you that don't know, Connor's never properly sat down and kind of watched Classic.
Not properly. No. Yeah.
Obviously, you've experienced little bits of it here and there, but yeah, you've never actually properly sat down and engaged with an episode.
No, not properly.
So over the next month, we're doing 5 Classic Who stories, starting this week with the 3 Doctors. Big episode. Also, sorry if my throat is really bad. I was very sick over the weekend. Usually, I have a really good immune system, luckily, and I get sick like once or twice a year, and only ever for a day. And even then, I can still function. I never have to just lie in bed or anything like that. I'm very lucky like that. But holy shit, dude! Saturday just gone. I was out. I slept pretty much all day.
Wow.
All my throat was just in pain. I couldn't eat because my throat was so sore. And yeah,
that's the worst.
Yeah, I did my first ever at-home COVID test, which was fun.
Oh, you did your rat test?
Yeah, that was fun.
Ah, okay. Where'd you get it from?
I just get them in the chemist.
Okay,
like $15.
There's all this kerfuffle at the moment where it's how easy I had to access. So yeah, I've never heard of anyone actually doing one in perfectly. So yeah. Fair enough. Well, I'm glad it's not COVID. I'm glad you're. Well, are you feeling better? You feeling okay now?
I'm feeling better in myself.
Relatively.
On Saturday, I was standing up because my girlfriend graduated, but because of COVID, I couldn't actually go to the graduation.
Yes. Send a fat message. Yeah.
I went to hers briefly just beforehand, just to take some photos with her and wave her goodbye off. And I was standing up for the photos, and I was like, "Fuck!" I feel like I'm gonna collapse. This is the worst I've ever been sick since being a kid. It was unreal. But then Sunday morning, my throat was even worse, but myself was back to normal again. I had energy. I didn't need to sleep all the time. I was fine, in a good mood. My throat was just really sore. And since then it's just slowly getting better. Saying that, the last hour it's gotten a bit sore again. So we'll see how we go.
Oh yeah, colds are so up and down. I haven't been it's so funny. The last 2 lockdowns we've had in Perth, I've strangely been sick for both of them, but not. I've been tested and I was fine. Yeah. But it's a horrible time to be sick around these days. The other one just I know when you told me today, I was like, oh, Rona.
Is it the big C?
Everyone jokes about it because it's just everyone's just well, you're sick, you must be with the old Rona, but
yeah, you never know.
Yeah, strange times. Yeah, I've got a I'll wait till we finish our review, but I've got a fucking crazy ass. The reason why I'm not with Aidan today, I've got a pretty fucking annoying story to tell you after our review. I would say it now, but it might take a while. We should go on with the review, but I'll be sure to tell you afterwards, but it explains why I'm at home today and not with you in your lovely studio.
Why we're zooming.
We'll get to that. So stay tuned for that. It's actually quite the story. So stay for that. You come for the reviews, you stay for the stories.
That's right. That's that should be our tagline.
Thank you.
A little bit of housekeeping. Hit us up on Twitter and Instagram. That's at 50 Doctor. We're always there for a chat. Connor runs the Insta, I run the Twitter. Always there for a good time. We just like to chat. Right. Doctor Who. It's what we do. All right. Don't at me. All right. If you want to see the footage,
can at you at 50 Doctor on Twitter.
Yeah, you can. I like what you did there. If you want to see the footage of the podcast, sometimes we're in person. It looks great. Sometimes not so great. We're doing it through Zoom, but it's still part of it. Excuse me. You can see us at the 50% Doctor Who YouTube channel, where we also post some lovely extra bonus content from time to time. Usually once a week, there's an extra video that slides onto that platform. So that's lovely, isn't it, Connor?
Yeah, it is. Yeah. Our videos did pretty well actually, and it seems to be a reason why I want to do it as well is because like I feel like people would really like these reviews, and I thought doing like some bonus content would also bring people more aware of the podcast, which I think it's been doing, which is nice,
Mm.
and also they can enjoy the videos. So yeah, I'm pretty
Yeah,
happy with how they've been doing actually.
yeah, because like we only started posting the video of the podcast on YouTube like 2 or 3 months ago. And that they were getting
Yeah, Town
very,
Called
very little
Mercy
views compared
onwards.
to the people that were actually listening to it over on Spotify and stuff.
Mm.
So it'll be great to, I guess, bring some more people in visually, get to know our pretty little faces, right?
Yeah, yeah, I agree.
Mm. The other
Mm.
thing I want to say is, if you're listening to us on Apple Podcasts, welcome, because we only set this
Thank
up
you.
for you guys like 2 or 3 months ago as well. We used to just be on Spotify and Stitcher, but yeah, now we're on Apple Podcasts, and I've realized I was looking at the stats the other day of the podcast, and out of our overall, all the listeners we've had over the past,
The
year and a half,
millions, the
almost two
millions of
years,
the
the billions,
listeners.
trillions,
Yeah,
zillions. There's not even a number for it.
there
Um,
isn't.
of yeah, 6% of that entire share is on Apple Podcasts. So that's in the last like 2 or 3 months.
Okay.
Over on Apple has taken up 6% of our listener share of the entire
Thank you,
time we've
Apple.
been making the show. So that's a pretty solid amount. So if you're here listening through Apple, thank you.
Thank you.
And feel free to drop us a little 5-star review if you like, or 4. We'd like a 5. But
Yeah, you can do it on Spotify as well if you so wish
yeah,
to
you
leave
can.
a review. I know I have. So we're currently a 5-star podcast, Aidan, which
You.
not a lot of people can say.
That's
So
right.
look at us go. Just 5 stars.
That's right.
It's true. You can't deny it. It's 5 stars. It says it right there on Spotify. It's the 5-star podcast. So what are you
Damn
gonna do?
right. So around here, what we do is we talk about an episode of an episode of Doctor Who, and then in between it, we talk about other little things that we want to talk about. That's why it's a 50% Doctor Who podcast. And here is the theme.
Hey,
50 50 50 50 50 50 50 50 50% podcast.
So, like I said, today we are doing our first ever classic review on the channel. I've seen this one. I want to say like maybe this might be my 3rd or 4th time watching it. This is Connor's first time watching it and first time properly engaging with a classic Who story. So it's going to be crazy. It's going to be really cool to see, what's going on here. So The Three Doctors is the first serial of the 10th season of the British science fiction television series Doctor Who. It was first broadcast in 4 weekly parts on BBC One from the 30th of December 1972 to the 20th of January 1973. In the serial, the solar engineer Omega, the creator of the experiments that allows the Time Lords to travel in time, seeks revenge on the Time Lords after he was left for dead in a universe made of antimatter. The Time Lords recruit the Time Traveler, the First Doctor, the Second Doctor, and the Third Doctor to help when Omega drains their civilization's power. So, this is the first big multi-doctor story. This is the 10th anniversary special. I've killed my throat reading that. That absolutely killed.
I was wondering what anniversary it was. But haven't they done the 2 Doctors before? They did.
No, so 2 Doctors.
Hartnell?
It's definitely not like an anniversary thing, but it might be like there might be some reason why they did it. There might be some special, like an anniversary of something. I don't know. But 2 Doctors is just a random story with the 6th Doctor and the 2nd Doctor in Colin Baker's first series. So that's not till like the 80s.
Oh, so there isn't just a duo of Hartnell and Troughton.
No, this is the first time they ever did this.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, dude, kind of you know what? I wouldn't say not looking forward to it. I was a little bit worried that I'd start it, not like it, and then realize I have another 4 weeks of it. But I trust you enough because, like I said last week, you are pretty much the expert when it comes to these stories. So I trusted you enough to pick some that I'd like. So I did have to download this weird streaming service called BritBox, which has been an absolute pain in my fucking ass the last couple of days. It's got 2 stars on the App Store, not 5 stars like our podcast, 2. And it's so laggy. It's like kind of app where you shut down for the day and you go to reboot it the next day on your phone and it makes you sign in again. So for no reason at all. But hey, and whatever happened to month trials? It's that classic 7-day free trial, and then you got to pay like $9 a month. But anyway,
I think the Three Doctors is on
episode,
Stan.
so you know.
I think it is.
Oh mate, you know what? But you said I just needed it, so I was like, "Fuck it, I'll get it." I think
you'll need it for next week's one.
Yeah, I was like, "Fuck it, I might as well watch them all on there." And I managed to watch. I think it was 2 episodes on my 4K. I watched 2 episodes on Saturday, 1 episode yesterday, which was Sunday, and I finished episode 4 today on Monday. And I think I really enjoyed watching it. I might do this. I might start on a Saturday and then watch one on Sunday and maybe finish on Sunday, and maybe not leave it till Monday like I did this time. But watching it like that, I think was really cool. And again, watching them upstairs, I'm not sure what the resolution was.
It's not even. It's no
BritBox, but
BritBox isn't remastered or anything. Unlike the Blu-rays, which I've been watching them on.
I didn't think so, but it was cool to watch them upstairs and on the big screen at times. So
yeah, I watched on before work at like 6 a.m. on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday morning. So I split them up one a day as well. It's much better to do it that way, I find.
Yeah, and it's different to what we're used to as well. They're like almost like what, 25 minutes each, 22?
Yeah, I think they're like 24. Yeah, pretty spot on.
Yeah, it's so interesting. Like I'm so used to like I'm a big fan of The Simpsons, and their 22, 24-minute episodes was kind of weird to watch a Doctor Who episode that's the same kind of runtime as that. Like, and I think it's really cool because I was going down. This is from season 10. This is the opening story for season 10, and I was going down the list of episodes, and they're all pretty much like 3-parters, 4-parters. Like, yeah. Certainly interesting.
I think series 10 is all 4-parters, but the last story is a 6-parter, and it's actually a good 6-parter. Wow. It doesn't feel too long. It's got good stuff in there.
Yeah, it definitely gives I think the story time to breathe, and we'll see more and more as we do more episodes. But I think it suits the style of episodes they were doing. I was a bit hesitant at the start I was like, why is it 4 parts? Like, what's this about? Now that I've seen my first classic serial in full, I do understand, I think.
Yeah, it suits the format. Connor, I can't wait anymore. What did you think of it? Did you enjoy the 3 Doctors?
I did. Yeah, I actually did. Did.
Round of applause for Connor, everybody.
Thank you. Thank you. Sorry, I didn't know I was leaving you all on edge there. I can see why, for the first time, people actually like watching these stories. Yeah, cool. I've matured, clearly, because I never used to think that. But you're right, though. I think you made some really good points about trying to switch off your phone, and also going in and respecting that they are old, and respecting the story and understanding that it was a different time with like different writing styles, and obviously it's old. And I think if you're going with the right attitude, I think you have a really good time, which I think I can say I did. So yeah,
awesome. Yeah, I love the story. That's one of the reasons I suggested it. It's definitely one of my top classic stories, and I think this was the 4th collection box set. Season 10 was, I think, just the 4th one, because they do them in a random order. This was the 4th set they did, and I think this was the first time I watched a story and was like, I love that. Like, I'd watch that as much as I watch a New Who story, which I wouldn't say a lot of classic Who. A lot of it is maybe just a couple of one-time watches, or maybe down the line I might watch it a second time. But a lot of classic Who, a lot of stories I'm not going to come back to that often. But then you have ones like the 3 Doctors, which are just really good, and I can come back to any day of the week.
Yeah, it was a great surprise to see Omega in it, who I've heard so much about. I didn't know he was in it, and that was a great surprise. No, I didn't. Awesome. I didn't. yeah, and I had no idea. Like his backstory was fucking awesome, and I
Yeah,
had
cool.
no idea that he was like a Time Lord,
Yeah.
and he was the reason that like the time travel existed. That
Hmm.
stuff was something that actually meant so much to me to actually know. I'm a huge Doctor Who fan, and I didn't know that. So
Yeah.
to get that out of the episode was so interesting. And does Omega come back again, or is that it?
I've not seen it, but I'm pretty sure he's in a series, a Fifth Doctor
Okay,
story called Arc of Infinity, and it's not good.
okay,
It's not good.
okay, okay. Yeah, but what an interesting story. I can see now why people want him to come back so much.
Mm,
Not sure how they do it, but I can see why people want to see him again because it's an awesome story.
yeah.
Um, yeah, my worry watching them, well, starting to do this was that I was worried we wouldn't have enough to say, but there's quite a lot to say and talk about, which I think is fun.
Yeah. Well, I was thinking because it is so long, the stories,
Hmm.
instead of going through it beat by beat, let's just break it down and just discuss individual aspects of the story.
I think that's perfect.
Just
Yeah.
the story as a whole, I guess the plot. Part one, we've got fuck, I don't even know where part one ends and part two starts. But you have like the Doctor and Joe, and they're seeing all these items, these people getting observed by this weird little alien thing, right? Which is crazy. Eventually, we find out all that stuff's being taken to the other planet, to the through the black hole, to the world of antimatter, which is a cool concept, which is where Omega is, and the Time Lords recruit all the past versions of the Doctor and stuff, and then they have to go and stop Omega. Is basically the story. Did you enjoy it?
100%. I think you picked a great story. I think this is a great 10th anniversary
It really
story as
is.
well. It's so fun to be able to watch something like this and then do the 50th in a couple of weeks.
Mm,
I think watching this now, it's given me a lot more love for the idea of a special. Yeah, I thought it was great. Even seeing the Time Lords and stuff was so interesting because the Time Lords are, you know, you don't really get to see them much in New Who, and they're kind of like they're more spoken about than seen. And
yeah,
it always blows my mind in the classics how like much of a big part they are in it because
yeah,
they're a lot. Like, and I guess the reason why I didn't really think that, I guess when I first started hearing about classics and how much time was in it, I think the reason why I didn't think they were in it much is because, you know, they were gone the second I started watching. When I started watching Rose, they were gone.
mm,
So I never thought they were, much. Like I didn't think they did much, per se in the past in the other episodes in the classic series. Like, so to see how heavily involved they are was interesting, and yeah, the fact they recruit the three daughters was just, I think, a really fun idea.
yeah,
I think it really worked. Yeah, really fun plot.
yeah. I agree. I think the pacing of the whole plot and of the whole story, it's so fast paced. It goes so quick. I think there's never like a dull moment. It's always
Mm.
really enjoyable. I think it's really funny. I think the script is quite funny.
It is funny. Like this, it almost like the thing I took away from the most. It's almost like a theater, almost like theater.
Yeah, sure,
It's like
yeah.
it's so lively. Like, and you're right. It does sometimes come across as a bit of a slapstick comedy.
Mm,
And it kind of really works, which is interesting, especially most like the Briggs lines and even the banter between mostly like Troughton's doctors like digging. Like I laughed so hard when Troughton's doctor calls Pertwee's doctor old chap, and he's like talking to himself, like he's calling
yeah.
he's talking to himself, and that just made me laugh. And I was like, yeah, like the brig was great. I haven't, I know about Joe Grant, I know about the brig, like I know about
Mm,
Troughton's doctor and John Pertwee's doctor. Um, even is it Bessie the car?
Bessie's the car,
Bessie?
yeah.
Bessie, yeah. Like my dad used to tell me about like what was so lovely about watching this episode was that like these are the episodes my dad grew up watching. Like I know everyone's got their doctor, and my dad would always tell me that John Pertwee was his doctor.
Mm,
Um, even when I was watching, I had about 5 minutes left of the second part of this episode, and my parents came back home, and I watched the final 5 minutes with my dad. And that was really special for me. We never sit down and watch Doctor Who together. We never sit down and watch anything together. And I was like, this is the stuff that you told me you used to watch. And he was like, yeah, I actually remember this one. Like, it meant a lot to me because, like, yeah, I've heard about all these characters, but to see them actually interact was really fun. It was really, really fun, actually.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's really cool, man.
Are you a bit shocked that I liked it?
I am. I'm so happy though that you did. Like, because I agree. I think it's such a fun episode.
Yeah.
A fun story. Yeah. Let's talk about the characters then, and we'll break it down. We'll save the three doctors till last.
Yeah.
But so yeah, you said you enjoyed seeing the brig. This is the first time you've ever properly got to experience the Brigadier Lethbridge Stewart.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think? Was he like everything that he was hyped up to be?
Yeah, definitely. I remember seeing him in Sarah Jane Adventures and being like, who the fuck is this? So like it was cool to actually see him in the flesh and work him. Yeah, I think he's such a cool character. And so he had interactions with Patrick Troughton then.
So basically, UNIT in Classic Who, they do a few stories with Troughton's Doctor, just here and there. And then come John Pertwee's first story is when the Time Lords banish John Pertwee to Earth. I know I've told you about that before. So
I was going to ask you about that.
The third Doctor's first three seasons are all set just on Earth with UNIT in pretty much every story. Like UNIT is pretty much main cast the whole way through. So you get this really great sort of UNIT family of the Brigadier, Sergeant Benson, Joe Grant, because Joe works for UNIT.
I heard that as well because the brig says, come on, you guys represent UNIT, and I was like, okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I think Joe works for UNIT. I think. Do I have that wrong?
He does. The brig says it. Yeah.
And then there's also Mike Yates, who I don't think was in this story, but he's another member of the UNIT fam. And I thought there's one other person I'm missing. I don't know. But what's really cool that you got to see in this story is because of the Doctor helping the Time Lords, at the very end, they give him part. He says he got all of his knowledge back that they wiped from his mind, and they give him the part of the TARDIS he need. So from this story onwards, for Pertwee's last two seasons, he can now go off in time and space, and all those adventures kick off back to normal again.
I've heard you talk about it so much that the Doctor got stranded on Earth. So I'm so glad I knew that. Because then, you're right. He gets that piece at the end of the episode 4, and it all made sense to me because I was like, because when episode started and the TARDIS just at UNIT, I was like, I wonder if this is what Aidan was talking about. You said that it's the Time Lords that banish him, isn't it? Like you said.
Yeah.
So I'm really glad I knew that because it does actually kind of just start and everyone kind of knows each other and the TARDIS just in UNIT. But the brig was great. It was really cool to see Joe Grant again. The only time I've seen Joe Grant was in Sarah Jane Adventures as well. So the only times I've actually had experiences with these characters is through that. So it was really cool to see.
Did you like Benson?
I did, yeah. So again, with his character, I could tell there was a lot of parts of the Doctor which I haven't seen, but what I did see, I think that's awesome. That's something about Classic Who is just something you wouldn't get these days, where it is just like 4 episodes set on one story, and the Doctor, like you said, is just stuck at UNIT for 3 seasons. That's just something you'd never get anymore. And I kind of like that. I kind of like that there's characters at UNIT, like soldiers at UNIT, that know the Doctor well, and they know, and like Joe Grant is like is part of UNIT, and I think that's really cool.
This is what I mean by the Sontaran Strategy and the Poison Sky, why I really don't like that story, is because UNIT's there just to be like the military, which I don't really like. It's that like family dynamic that you start to get in Moffat's era. You get obviously Kate Stewart there, and then you get Osgood. You start to get to know the people at UNIT a little bit more. It would be nice if they were a little bit more recurring, I think. But yeah.
I think it was a really cool story to introduce me to. I really did feel like I got almost like a bit of everything that classic Who kind of like stands for.
Sure, yeah.
I instantly, I've always liked I've always loved John Pertwee's costume.
Mm.
So he's always been a Doctor that I've been really interested to see, like as the Doctor in an actual episode. And instantly I loved his Doctor. I
Cool.
really did.
I agree. He's awesome.
I think he might be again. I haven't seen a lot of the rest, but I actually do think he will probably be my favorite. There's just something about him I actually really like, and I love his costume. I know that Capaldi took a lot of inspiration from him as well, even to his costume as well. So
Charlton, he's very like he's kind of got like a
him,
James Bond feel to him a little bit, where he's he's always holding Joe's hand and running with Joe, like grabbing with her and running away from danger. He's always helping her up over the rocks. He's so polite. He's just got that stature to him, which I really like.
Yeah. No, I agree. Yeah. So
you said you liked Omega. Was that sort of through and through? You just fully liked Omega?
Totally. Yeah. I again, I've heard so much about this character, and it was such a great surprise. Actually, I like his little blobby, little like gelatin creatures that just like kind of like shuffle across. It's so funny. Yeah, wob. I love it, and how can you not? Like, you got to remember when you're watching this stuff that like this is the stuff that terrified my dad when he was a kid. Totally. Like, and it looked really good back in those days for them. So I'm not gonna sit here and go that looks dumb. I thought it looked hilarious.
They look kind of cute. Hey, the way they
even
like
the sets was like, it's kind of cute. Look. But they're like firing lasers, unit soldiers, and blowing them up. And I'm like, what the fuck? This is. And there was just like you said, that kind of like weird parasite creature that would just like teleport stuff. It's so funky, and I put it on the 50 Doctor Instagram story, and a few people were like, what the fuck? But I was like, look, I'm kind of here for it. Like, it was like 15 minutes into the episode, and it steals Bessie. And I'm like, this is great. Like, how can I not like this? I'm really glad I had this idea that I was like, okay, now you're going to really give it a try. I think the last time I actually tried to actually sit down and watch an episode of Classic Who was 2016. So I'm glad I gave it a try. I think it was really good to like we're saying like about Omega. Yeah, I think it was really cool to see him. That whole storyline I thought was awesome. That's how they were like Trout's Doctor explains about like how close they were to figure out time travel, and like in order to do it, Omega got trapped. It's actually a really cool storyline. It is. It just shows the darkness of the Time Lords as well. Like, I really liked it.
Yeah. I really liked Omega all the way through it. There's a reason why I always talk about him. I always want them to bring him back because I love him. I love his costume design. I love his origin story. I think he gets a little bit shouty and a little bit screamy in the back end of the story. The moments where he just screams and stuff. I tell you what is infuriating about this, right? I care so much about my Blu-rays. I don't scratch them. I don't do anything. I'm like, I finish the app and it comes out of my Blu-ray player, straight into the case, back up on the shelf. Like, I'm not one to leave them around out of case. I don't even leave them in like my player for a long period of time. I put them back into the case.
You use them as a coaster.
Yeah, that's right. I use them to put my fucking coffees on. I use them as frisbees. But for some reason, this story, one of my favorite stories of Classic Who, first time I watched it, totally fine. Second time I watched it, it jumps a little in part 4. At like 2 moments, it like skips like it skips like 30 seconds, and then like 10 minutes later, it skips like 10 seconds. It's not huge, but the 30 seconds it skips is like really funny because it's like Omega like puts his hands on his mask ready to take off the helmet, and then it like will freeze frame for a second, and then it will just cut to him going no. So you don't know what he's like under the helmet.
That was a cool twist. It was like he wasn't even like he was nor man nor Time Lord anymore.
Yeah,
I like it. It almost like descend into his own madness.
Yeah.
It's a cool idea, cool concept. One thing I found really interesting, which again I feel like is just something you couldn't really do these days, is that just like the way they brought in Patrick Troughton's Doctor. I don't even mean this in a bad way. Was almost like kind of like effortlessly chill.
Yeah.
Like it kind of wasn't even like that much of a big deal. It was like, you. Like,
Hello.
could you imagine if like in the 60th, like Capaldi just sees Matt and goes, all right,
Yeah.
yeah, all right, what are you doing here, you little shit? Like, you know, like they I think it suits the episodes really well. But I kind of love how it wasn't necessarily such a big deal. But I guess people weren't really like, I guess they weren't like they are now, where it's like, oh, they got to do like Matt's got to say Geronimo and Dave's got to say out on the scene. Like, you know what I mean? Like, did you feel that? Do you feel like it kind of was just like, it was kind of just like simple, like, you know what I mean?
I think it was simple in those sort of character reunions and things like that. I thought they were downplayed in a good way. And then it allowed you to have a lot of fun with the story in the episode. Like they still managed to keep things really exciting. Like I think Pertwee and Joe Grant are on the antimatter planet. And then they're like, oh, something else has just arrived or something. And it cuts to them in the TARDIS. There's this music bit that's like, da-dun! And it's like all of them in the TARDIS, like jumping as they like land in the antimatter dimension. And I love that shit. I think that was so fun. There's like a good mix of excitement, but also not overdoing it like you get in a lot of stuff these days.
You're right. Yeah, I agree. And like, again, stuff that this feel like this is probably annoying me in another story, but it really didn't. And the idea they you see 2 and 3 together, and I think they have like a good like 5 minutes or so with each other, and then the Doctor runs out with Joe, and they get taken, and then they don't reunite until I believe the last couple of minutes of episode 3.
Yeah,
and it does give some good time between them interacting with each other, but you still get to see Second Doctor interact with like the Brig and stuff, like, and then you get to see the Third Doctor interact with like Omega and stuff. Which I think, so the episode, it kind of made the thing I was excited most to see was to see how they interact with each other and kind of compare it to how Matt and David interact, which is pretty much all I've really can go off. It's the only like multi-Doctor story episode I watched. I think I watched the Fifth Doctor's a few times. I think the Five Doctors, sorry. I think I watched that a little bit of you.
I've only ever
William
seen
Hartnell, was this his last appearance for William Hartnell?
Yes. So okay, let's talk about Will, or Bill, whatever you want to call him, Will or Bill. So obviously he's not in this story that much. And this is 73. Will left in 66. So this is like 6 or 7 years after he's left the role. What did you think of him? He's not in it much, but what did you think of the little snippets that we got of him?
Yeah, he was a really cool presence, I think. Seeing the First Doctor is almost like kind of like, well, First Doctor, can we even call him that anymore? I don't know. But either way, it was when this aired, so I'll call him that. Kind of gave me chills a little bit, man. It's kind of like, it's so weird that he's the first incarnation of a character who I love so much, and I don't really know him very well. Like, I don't know his Doctor very well, nor have I really cared to even look that much, which I want to change. Seeing his Doctor interact with the second, third, best thing I can take away from it would be that I think even outside of these reviews, I do want to visit a few episodes, particularly William Hartnell's, because he definitely intrigued me. I think his Doctor is the one I've seen the least out of obviously the 3 that were out of 2 and 3. Like, he was the least screen time, so I was like, I'm intrigued to see what he's going to be like in his episodes. But I can't go off much because he wasn't in it much. I don't think you told me, but I think you did tell me that. I think you said he was a bit ill at the time. But I
Yeah,
do think he had a really cool presence. That was a long-winded answer to it, but yeah, I think he had a really cool presence. But yeah,
yeah.
not
I'll
much to
save
go
going
off
into
per
it a bit
se.
until later when we do behind the scenes.
Okay, yeah.
But yeah, I agree. I think he's a good presence. You can tell for reasons he's kind of just reading off scripts and stuff like that. Like but you still feel like even though he's very old and stuff at that point, he's still trying to kind of give it his all a bit. Like you still kind of feel like he wants to be there and stuff.
Yeah.
But the poor guy's probably just acting in like a studio just on his own.
Yeah.
You know. But what is really cool about all of these? Sorry, this is off topic. About Classic Who is that they're filmed like a play. Like it's not filmed single camera. It's filmed 4 camera live to take. The edit is done on the spot. Like they're cutting between the cameras live on the tape. You know, it's literally just like a live recording of a scene being played out. I was
It feels
reading.
like it as well.
Yeah, I was reading the a few magazines and stuff. There's some really good magazines that Doctor Who magazine have done recently. These like special magazines, and one of them's based on script writing Who from '63 to Chibnall's era, and one of them is the same thing for directing. And yeah, all of Classic Who for the most part is kind of shot in that way, and it's so interesting that they would do like 5 days of rehearsals just in like a warehouse space or
Yeah, right.
or something, and then they do 1 day of taping, which is
Wow.
yeah, crazy.
Funny, yeah, because like I said, you do get a sense of theatre from it, which I haven't seen much, nor do I really care to, but I really got that sense from it. Another thing I really noticed is this is the first time. Obviously, we got to the gun, so it's not like I haven't watched Doctor Who without Murray in it. But I'm obviously most used to Murray. The score is so wacky, and I kind of love it. I really
Yeah.
kind of do.
Yeah, there is
it's pretty
actually a
sick,
lot of
like,
cool little bits
it's
of score
cool.
in this one. Like it's all weird
Yeah.
and not stuff that I'll probably listen to just out and about, like I would fucking the Doctor's theme and stuff. But
Yeah.
it all works real fun in the episode, I think.
It does. It does. It is just fun. Like it's not. I wonder how much. I wonder how when they first aired. Like I wonder how serious they were expecting people to take it, because it's kind of hard to look back now and think. What do you think? I don't know. Like
I think
do you
it's all meant to be like fun, like obviously they want
Yeah.
the serious bits to be serious, but it's all meant to be fun. And that's why I think actually all the eras of Who have highs and lows when it comes to this in the new era, where like sometimes it takes itself a little bit too seriously. Sometimes it's like really good balance of being fun but having heart. And then sometimes, like mainly Moffat's era, he goes too far the other way, and it takes itself too silly and doesn't hold itself too serious enough sometimes. And then I think Chibnall sometimes goes a little too seriously. But yeah.
Yeah.
So you kind of touched on him before. The second Doctor, Patrick Troughton. What did you think of him?
Yeah. I think what was really cool about all their performances and all their Doctors is like I was a bit interested to see if maybe like all their personalities kind of like blended into one. And it's far from that, I think. I love how he's looking for his recorder like 24/7. That always made me laugh.
And then it's like a plot point at the end as well.
And it's a plot point. I really appreciate that. Yeah. His performance he's so much more sassier and
he's very silly.
So much more jokes, than the third Doctor. But yeah, certainly interesting. He's always been a Doctor that I've been interested to see. I feel like he would be out of all three of them. I think he would be one that, as a personality in the Doctor, would be one that I'd find hard to get into. But I'm not at all against trying. Yeah. But
I think you can see that Matt Smith drew a lot from him.
Yes,
there's a lot of that, a lot of very physical humor. And just being silly. I think there's a lot of that.
Yeah, very slapstick and like we said, yeah, making jokes, I think, and even in serious situations, but also being there to show up and represent. And I feel like he took more risks than the Third Doctor as well. Like he listens to the First Doctor, like he listens to Hartnell, like because he's like turn off the shields, and then they get like zapped, and I'm like, he's kind of just like, fuck it, I'll do it because like I'm being told by myself to do it, and even Hartnell's like, he's like, you gotta trust me. It's me saying it. I really did. I really did enjoy all three of them, to be honest. And yeah, again, I was really interested to see. Of course, like Hartnell wasn't there much per se, but I could even tell his personality was so different to the second and third Doctor, and which is weird because we're kind of in a time now where I feel like Jodie and Matt and David are kind of quite similar.
I agree.
Like you know what I mean? So to have that kind of different range, I really respect.
Yeah. It's one of the reasons I love Pete so much is that he somehow, and same with Joe.
Exactly.
Pete and Joe Martin both do something kind of new with the Doctor for the first time in a while, which I quite like.
Yeah, no, you're totally right. You're totally right. And I guess what kind of and it wasn't necessarily the plan when they started Doctor Who, was it, to have this idea of regenerating, or was
no,
it,
that wasn't on the cards at all. Like it was only when they wanted to keep going, and Bill was getting a bit too old, and we'll see it in Adventure in Space and Time soon.
That's right.
There. But
so I think even in the first 10 years, the fact they improvised and was able to pull off three completely different actors and personalities that are all the same person, but also still have the morals and the love and the heart of the Doctor, was certainly something that I really appreciated. One thing I will say is the Time Lords were a bit different to what I thought they would be like. Even like to the way they were dressed, they
go through a lot of different costume changes in Classic Who.
Yeah, because I think I'm used to seeing pictures in Colin Baker's era where it's kind of similar to the robes that we see in like R2D's era and stuff.
Yeah, in Tom Baker's era, they get a bit more like that. Yeah.
Yeah, and I love how they're just like, fuck it, we'll bring all three of them in. And it's like, we can't do that. It's like, yeah, we can. And it's like, okay, may your own head be.
We'll make it work.
It's like classic Doctor Who. Like, we can't do it, but we can.
We'll do it,
and we'll do it now.
We'll do it for this little plot convenience.
Yeah, it's funny. You're right about the whole comedy thing. There were times I'm like, it's just like kind of like slapstick. Like even the last scene is just that guy coming back, from his like fishing trip or something, and it's like, where have you been? He's like, you won't believe me, and it just goes to the credits.
He's like, you won't believe me. It's supper on.
What's for tea? It just ends, and I'm like, what ended? Like, that's perfect. Yeah,
it's
like it was funny. Like it had some it didn't take itself too seriously, but I feel like in the Omega scenes you did feel the impact, and you understood Omega's character and his motives, I think. And I feel like if you didn't, this episode would have been shit and it would have failed miserably.
Yeah.
But I think you picked a really good episode to show me first, actually. I'll give you that. I think you did.
Yeah, I'll pat myself on the back for that one. What did you think? Obviously, they don't age too well, but given the production values at the time and things, what did you think of the set design?
I really appreciate it a lot.
Yeah.
And you got to. Like, I feel like you got to. I really do. It's, again, I think, particularly when I'm watching something with someone else, like when my dad came up for that last 5 minutes, and if I'm ever watching something and someone sits down, normally I turn it off if I'm watching something, but sometimes I leave it on. And I can feel myself almost like watching through their eyes. And I'm like, I hope they don't
I do that.
Like this and that. But I that's particularly the moment where I was like, hang on a minute, how can you not appreciate this for what it was back in the day? Like, particularly the set, I was thinking in that moment, I was like, kind of like that with like all those little balls on like on the walls and stuff, and it
Yeah,
kind of matched those like bubbly creatures that were walking
exactly.
around.
Yeah, that's all cool.
It fit really well. Even
And that,
Omega's design was it's a fucking awesome design.
yeah, it's sick, dude. I think it gets changed to a really shit design when he comes back next, but I'll let
Interesting
you
he
know when
comes
I see
back.
it.
Yeah, okay.
That little unit HQ set, that laboratory as well, that's like such a big part of Classic Who. Like you're in there more than the
Okay.
TARDIS for a lot of John Pertwee stories,
Yeah, it's funny
And
you
I
say
was
that.
really
Yeah.
hoping that in Survivors of the Flux, the second last episode of Flux, when you went through the unit origin story and we
Right.
were in
You thought you
Unit
might see it.
HQ, I was like, oh, surely they'll just like make it. They'll make that set, but make it like a real, like make it look real, make it not look like a set,
Yeah. Yeah.
I was really hoping
Yeah.
they'd do that, but they never did. I thought that was a really big missed opportunity.
Well, what's fun now is that I can start to notice this kind of stuff, even if they do start doing that. That I do love how like a bit of the wall gets taken out, and you see it on the planet like a little later on. You see like like the water tank, and you see like
That's funny.
like the Briggs computer, and you see a wall. It's just standing there, just sitting up.
And don't they like they
funny,
try and
like,
open it, and Joe's like,
funny.
it's locked. So then the doctor's
Yeah,
like, yeah, it says don't
It's
open.
locked. Yeah. Yeah. See, that's what I mean by like it is quite slapstick. Like,
Yeah, it's funny.
I can see them kind of going for keep the audience on their feet, make them laugh every 5 minutes with a joke.
It's a celebration,
So so Patrick Troughton and so is Troughton still alive when they do the Five Doctors?
Troughton's back for the 5 Doctors. Troughton also then comes back for the 2 Doctors with Colin Baker that I was saying earlier, because that's with the 6th Doctor. Yeah. So that's after the 5 Doctors.
Wow.
And that's his last appearance before he dies.
So why did they pick the 2nd Doctor to be with the 6th?
I don't fucking know, man. There'll be some reason, maybe. I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know what they were doing with that.
You've not seen it?
No, I've not seen that season, so I couldn't tell you.
Okay. Wow. Okay. So yeah, I think I might. Again, what's cool about watching them now, and I'm sort of getting into them after we've done our the next 4. I think I will visit a few because I feel like there's some I want to see, and obviously we couldn't pick everyone for this little thing we're doing here. Why not? I
was thinking because we skipped the 6th Doctor in this because we're hitting up. Obviously, this story we're doing because it's mainly a John Pertwee story, but it's got a lot of Troughton and a bit of Hartnell. So you kind of do get a bit of the first 3 Doctors in this story. Then we're doing City of Death next week, so you get a 4th Doctor story. Earthshock the week after that, a 5th Doctor story. Then we're doing Survival, 7th Doctor story, and then the TV movie and 8th Doctor story. So we're skipping the 6th Doctor in all this. And that's mainly because out of what I've seen, and I've been watching them on the Blu-rays, and I've been waiting to watch them on the Blu-rays just because I really love doing that. We didn't want to watch all 14 episodes of the fucking Trial of the Time Lords.
You got to do it at some point, I reckon.
Maybe. But season 22, we were talking about it last week, has just been announced to be the next set done, and that's Colin Baker's other series where it is just single episodes, and I think they're 45-minute episodes as well. It's the only classic series they did it. I think they experimented with it in that season.
Okay.
And so I was thinking maybe when we come to the end of a season or something,
sure,
we can maybe do, I think, Attack of the Sidemen. I thought maybe that one could be a cool one to do. I don't know.
Yeah, well, even if we don't review it for the show, I want to watch the Silurian episodes. Sorry, the Ice Sea Devils. Fuck me. Sorry, wrong day.
I've not seen those.
What Doctor's in the Sea Devils?
I think one is I don't know. Pertwee.
Yeah,
I want to say Pertwee. Am I wrong? I don't know.
Oh,
probably.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I think I've seen pictures like that.
I think one's with Davison, I think.
Okay. Yeah,
I'm not sure. I'm probably wrong with both.
You don't have to, but I'm gonna watch them, and I can just do a little thing like you do sometimes. Be like, I watch this serial, so yeah, I want to check them out before. What the fuck's the episode called in Easter? Warrior, what's it called?
Legend of the Sea Devils, most basic
Legend of the Sea
name
Devils,
ever.
Oh, that's trivial for you. Fucking hell. Yeah. So yeah, I wanna peep that out because I think there's gonna be some fun references in there, and I want to be like Leo, like
see that shit.
I see it. I understood that reference.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that
It
meme.
lacked K9, 0 out of 10.
I like K9. Do you get K9 in the next story we're doing? I think you get like a scene of K9.
Woohoo! 10 out of 10.
Maybe
I
you
love
might not get
K9.
any K9, but we'll see.
He just gets yeeted, doesn't he? He's just there for a second, and then like it surprised me how little he's in it. You told me. I thought he was in like every episode.
No, they literally
he,
like they made K9, thought it was a genius invention, and then they're like, oh, he's really not that fucking practical for us to use, is he? So they
We'll
just
just keep
kept
him in the titles.
writing him out of stories, and like the first scene of every story is him just blowing up and shit like that. One of them, like literally the first scene of season 18,
K9.
I think K9 just, I don't know why, they're on a beach and he just sprints into the water and just like bursts into fucking flames in the water. And I don't think there's much of a reason as to why. And I don't think they put him back together for a few episodes.
The man survives everything. He gets blown up in Score Union. Like he
does.
It's like a common thing. Yeah. I always thought that he was a big part of it because when my parents were trying to get me to watch Doctor Who, which is Rose, which is a first episode of New Who, if you didn't know, my parents would bring up K9 all the time. Like, and I was like, okay, he must be like in every episode. Like, and then you told me he's like hardly in anything, and I was like, yeah, fair enough. We need something like that for Doctor Who. Remember there was that rumor that was going to be like
Percy the cat.
The cat. Yeah, that was going to be in the TARDIS. I'm there for it. I'm keen for something like that. Get like a hamster or something, man. The Doctor gets lonely.
Yeah.
And to a pet. Have a pet. It's funny.
Last question about the episode. Well, this is, I guess, about how Classic Who works for you in general.
Yeah.
What do you think of A, the title sequence, and B, how you don't get previously trailers. You just get the last like minute of the episode before you don't see any previously stuff.
Yeah, love the opening. Absolute fucking classic.
Yeah, it's awesome. Hey.
It's awesome. It was so cool. Even the end credits. By the way, I love it. It's Doctor Who with DR.
Yeah,
crazy. And they call him Doctor Who, which so many people hate when you call the Doctor Who.
Yeah.
Which I found hilarious. Yeah, that was really interesting. I like it. Did they air week by week or was it like day by day?
This was week by week. They did, I think, go through periods every now and then where they did 2 episodes a week. But
okay,
yeah, this was week
so I
by
can
week.
see why they did a little thing like that. I thought it was cool. It didn't distract me. I actually thought it was fun. It's just like kind of like an old time even they used to do, and I like it.
Yeah.
I also thought all the cliffhangers were fun.
They are
just
and
fun.
In a lot of Classic Who, the cliffhangers do get a bit like very forced. I think one of them's like Sarah
ends.
Jane is like climbing up a ladder and then she like slips and it's like to be continued. And then the next episode she just grabs hold of the ladder again or something like that. Like there's a lot of shit like that. But this one, all the cliffhangers I think were like well like paced out. They never felt rushed. They were all just good, I think, and resolved well.
Yes, I agree. It was really fun cliffhangers. It was just different writing for my favorite TV show. And yeah, I'm really glad I liked it. Otherwise, these next 4 weeks would have been hell. But, yeah. What are you gonna do?
No, that's right. Yeah. We should say this episode is directed by Lenny Mayne and written by Bob Baker and Dave Martin. Bob Baker writes a lot of Classic Who. He writes The Cause of Axos, The Mutants, The Three Doctors, The Sontaran Experiment, The Hand of Fear, The Invisible Enemy, Underworld, and The Armageddon Factor. So from 71 to 79, he writes, I think, 8 stories there. And then Dave Martin is definitely a different... Oh, no, he's written heaps. Oh, no, he writes all of his stuff with him. Wow. So...
Double trouble.
Bob Baker and Dave Martin are co-writers. That's so weird because I really do know the name Bob Baker, but I don't recognize the name Dave Martin at all. The script editor was Terrence Dix. And script editors are like a big thing back in Classic Who. them combined with the showrunner. So the script editor combined with the producer kind of formed the showrunner.
Okay.
Showrunners weren't a thing back then. Script
Right.
editors
Okay.
were all about making sure they were like sort of, I guess, commissioning scripts and making sure the stories all, are different enough from each other, coming up with ideas for stories, and like getting people to make them, having people bring ideas to him, and he'd like sort of check them, see if they're a good idea before they then go out and write them properly. And if there was any through line through a series, the script editor was sort of in charge of that. So the script editor is very similar to what a showrunner was. Obviously working under the vision of the producer. Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah, there you go. Cool, man. Okay, before we get into the very last few segments of the show, do you want to tell us this story that you were hyping up?
Man, I've had the worst day I think I've had in a fucking while. This is an absolute doozy.
Confirm.
Okay. Oh God. I'll try and make it brief because there's a lot of backstory, but I'll cut the fat. So a couple of weeks ago, I started getting a bit of toothache, and I'm terrified of the dentist. So I had to just eventually book something. So I was like, I can't keep doing it. It seemed to like go away and come back. And anyway, on Friday, it was like it hadn't happened for a while, and it started coming back on Friday. And I was like, man, I can't keep avoiding this. I'm gonna have to go. Another thing was just like, I'm an apprentice. I don't make much dough. So I was like, fuck, the dentist is expensive. So I was like, I kind of have to like, forward some money, which I didn't really want to do. I booked this thing for today at 2:45, and just the checkup alone was going to cost me $150. Plus, I knew I'd have to have some work done because my tooth was really hurting. Anyway, I was just having a really like nervous day because I knew the dentist was coming up, and I was really nervous. And also, I was waiting for a call because Dan gave my number to someone who might give me a bit of photography work here and there. So I was nervous about that. I was just at work, and I was like, oh fuck, I was just feeling nervous, having a bit of a nerve-wracking day. But anyway, it got to the point where I was like, okay, gotta leave now. And I'm working in the hills at the moment in Perth, so it takes me about 45 minutes to get home. And I've been driving to work a lot recently in my car. So I'm driving home. I'm making record time. It would give me enough time to come home, have a quick shower, and be ready to go to the dentist. I call my sister up. I'm like, all right, can you come with me? I'm a bit nervous. And she's like, yeah, sure. It was all set and ready to go. And
what tragedy took place, Connor?
Suddenly, there's a fire truck behind me, but behind that is a police car. And I was like, fuck, like, the signs were going off. And I was like, maybe they're trying to pull over the fire truck. But I was on the phone to my girlfriend Kim at the time, and I'm like, oh, fuck, I think I'm getting pulled over by the police. And she's like, what? And I'm like, I think I am. I'll be right back. So at first I was like, I don't know if I should pull over. I was doing 110 at the time. That's what the speed limit was. And I was like, fuck, it's going to take a bit of action to like slow down and pull over because we were going so fast. And I was like, okay, they kept flashing the lights. I was like, okay, all right, they do want me to pull over. So this has never happened to me. And then I was like, what have I done? I never speed. I was like, you don't have to freak out. There's nothing wrong. Well, there was something wrong. So he pulls me over, and he's like, do you own this car? And I was like, yeah, it's my car. And he's like, he's like, you got your license on you? And I'm stupid. I never carry my license around with me. And I was
That's
like, you can just
idiot move, Connor. Idiot move.
Off. Shut up. And then he's like, you know your registration's been expired since November. And I was like, you've got to be fucking kidding me. And I'm like, look, they probably hear this all the time, but I was like, I literally had no recollection of that. I don't know how, but I never got. I'm sure it got delivered to the house, but I never came across it. If I did, I totally just. I've always paid my rego. I'm always really good about it. I don't like to risk stuff.
For people in the UK, rego isn't a thing in the UK, but I guess it's similar to road tax. I think
road tax is. That's what my parents said. Yeah,
it's a little different, but it's I guess similar.
Yeah. Well, I thought I was going to get off with a slap on the wrist. Was I wrong? One of the police officers goes back to the car and brings out a fucking screwdriver, and they start taking off my plates. And they're like, "We're taking these," and I'm like, "Oh, shit!" So like, all right, we're taking these. You need to. So I got a list of stuff that not only have to pay for, but also I have to sort out. But I'm on the side of the road in the middle of butt fuck nowhere. Because they just pulled me over and I was like just going down this massive road. So the chances of that, by the way, if I knew that it was expired, 100% would have paid it. There's so much going on at the moment. Like my sister's literally about to give birth any day now. Like, I've got so much fucking going on.
Yeah.
I just totally spaced it. I was like, look, guys, like I'm an apprentice. Like I always pay this stuff. Like I basically try to say, like, can you please just let me go home and pay it? And they're like, no. So they took my plates. They're like, all right, now you need to pay for a license plate, which lasts for 24 hours, which basically if I was driving home and got caught by the police again with no plates on, so I had no plates, they could then look at that and go, okay, you can drive home. So it lasts like 24 hours. But I was like, look, I use Apple Pay. Like I don't have an actual physical card on me to like type in the details, like to buy online. And they're like, that sucks. You have to call someone then. And then they like breathalyzed me. That was fine. That was a 0. And then they're like, all right, good luck. And they fucking drove off and they just left me there.
Sucks. That's so
and
shit.
I was like, fuck. And then so this is the thing. So I happened to just miraculously be like very close to where our plasterer lives because I'm a carpenter. So my dad had to come and find me. I had to send him my location because I was a bit of a butt fuck nowhere. So I had to send him my location. And technically I wasn't supposed to leave the spot. I was in that buying this sort of thing, but he was literally like a minute down the road. So I was like, fuck it. So I drove down the road and my car is currently like 25 minutes away from me right now in my plasterer's back garden because he owns a big block of land. Because again, this is in the middle of nowhere. It's like just big blocks of land. So I have to, for the record, I have to go to the pits to get my entire car checked, which I think is going to cost me about $200. I have to buy this 24-hour license plate, which is going to cost me about $70. I have to buy a new license plate, which cost me $275. I have to pay a $200 fine, and I have to pay my $230 rego. After possibly having one of the worst days of my life, and I'm literally on the phone with my girlfriend about to go to the dentist, wondering how I'm going to afford it, I then get slapped with at least about $1,000 worth of fines. My car is fucking 25 minutes away. I can't even drive to work tomorrow. Damn. I could have fucking cried. It was, and the worst thing is, if I deserved it, I would be fine with it. Yeah. But I seriously don't think I do. I never fucking speed. I'm so good with my car. I always pay everything. But the thing that upset me the most, I really do love the police. I really respect them. I wanted to be in the police for a very long time. They pretty much just said, nah, fuck you. And they literally just left me on the side of the road and said, good luck.
That's so dumb. I was like, because like the point of the police isn't to make money. The point of the police is like to take care of the fucking community. Am I right? And like they're leaving you out in the middle of butt fucking nowhere, Australia, which is like out in the country. Is that sort of what you're saying? You were saying you're up in the hills? Yeah. Like, it was
quite far away from civilization.
That shit is like, you don't have a wallet, then
no,
like
I didn't. Yeah, it was.
They don't know how much water
really
you have.
sad.
They don't know like that. That shit that's dog, man. That's like not good at all.
It was horrible. And I literally spent, so when I came home, I spent like an hour on the phone to the Department of Transport. And I was like, look, I know you probably hear this every fucking day, but I didn't realize it was late. Like I said, it's like, I'm an apprentice. Like I don't have a lot of money. Like you're gonna put me in fucking debt for weeks.
Yeah.
And they were like, tough
Sorry,
shit.
Chief. Yeah.
I'm really hurt. Like I was
Mm.
having such a bad day. And then you couldn't make it up. You couldn't make it up. You can't make it up. So
Did you
now,
get to the
and now
dentist?
no. So when the police left, I was like outside, like it all happened so quick. I was like, what the fuck just happened? Then my dentist called me and said, you can come soon if you want. And I'm like, listen, I'm on the side of the road right now. The police just took my plates. And she was like, what? It's like, that's the truth. I was like, I was driving home and the police pulled me over and they literally just took my plates and left me. And I was like, yeah, I literally can't leave this spot. So, look, I'm really upset because like, I feel like I finally just started to recover from Christmas because I spent a lot of money at Christmas. Yeah, look, I'm really fucking upset. It's really horrible. And like, what upset me the most is that like, I'm not a hooligan, and I did try to just have an honest like chat to them and say, look, I understand this is your job, and I'm not trying to say like, it's bad of you for doing this, but can you please give me a break here? It's so ridiculous. Like, if you get caught, and I can't even say get caught because I didn't even know I was doing it. But if you get caught under 3 months, they don't take your plates. I was something like a couple of days of the 3 months, and they were like, yoink. So,
Yeah,
and I love my plates. I love my number. I can't say it, but I love my number.
Yeah.
What upset me the most is that they didn't even give me a second to. I basically just said like, look, guys, like, come on, like, I don't ever get in trouble with stuff. And like, we're sure you don't, but that's what's going to happen. Like, that's it. And I was like, fuck. So, yeah, look, it's an awful, awful day. So my point is, I couldn't come to see Aidan because I don't have a car. It's 25 minutes away, and there's no plates.
Oh man.
So yeah, look,
Fuck, that's so shit, dude.
That's bullshit. Like
Yes.
again, I'm so for the police. I respect the fuck out of them, but sometimes you just meet the good cop and the bad cop, and I think I met, the bad cop because they weren't having any of it, and I was like, man, I was just so upset. I literally don't have that kind of money, and I'm literally going to be for the next maybe 3 months. My pay is going to be, I think I'm going to have to just pay it week by week. I guess like $100 a week, so I'll probably take about 3 months to pay off. So again, if I felt like I deserved it, I wouldn't mind. But there's so many fucking idiots driving down that road as well who like speed and taking me over, and I always stick to the speed limit. I'm like, couldn't you just caught them? Like, I didn't do anything. Like, yeah, I was driving around, but I had no idea. Like,
Yeah.
I'm sure they hear it every day when they pull someone out, like, oh, I didn't know. But like, I genuinely didn't know.
Yeah.
Like, I wouldn't be that stupid to drive around for 3 months without paying my rego. So yeah, look, it almost doesn't feel like it's happened, and I'm still kind of processing it. But yeah, I'm fucking gutted, and I still have to go to the dentist and get hundreds of dollars probably of fucking dental work, which is another probably give me like $1,500 if I'm lucky in fucking debt.
Yeah.
And yeah, again, after having a really bad day and just really not feeling it, it was a massive kick to the balls.
Yeah.
It's just shit, man. It just fucking sucks.
That is rough.
But
I guess you won't make those mistakes again, though.
no, that's what my mum said, and I was like, it actually had happened to my mum before. But what they did was, here's the thing. Here's how I know I wouldn't get our way of saying that I didn't get my I didn't get it in the mail, because they basically sent my mum's rego to an old house of ours. And my mum tried to explain that, which was, again, the truth. But they were like, nah. Here's what annoys me. They don't send any emails. They don't send you texts. They send you one letter.
Yeah, you just get the one letter, yeah.
One letter. Not any texts or emails. It's late. It's overdue. One letter? Like,
Yeah.
I think I must have grabbed it and put it again. I changed my whole fucking room up. Like there's stuff everywhere. Like I must have just put it in a pile and left it. Like
Yeah.
look,
It's
completely
abusive to the bank
fucking-
account, but I always just do the 1 year one just so I don't ever have to think about it again.
yeah. After this, I'm kind of like, fuck it.
Obviously, the amount of fucking
know.
funds that you have to pay right now, I'm sure that the 1 year Rego isn't on the
Yeah,
cards for you. But
it's pretty horrible. Not gonna lie. So
yeah, that's grim.
yeah, it is. It is.
That's grim.
I just honestly don't think. You know, I'm a bit of a dick sometimes, but I'm a nice guy. Like I don't hurt people.
Mm.
Like I like to make people laugh. Like I you know, I just really don't think I deserved it. And there's just so many more people that I think deserve it. And I mean, who am I to say? But you know, I was just like, why me? Like, come on, really?
Because those cops like pulled over, and waited like 2 minutes. I'm sure they would instantly have got like find someone that was like going like 140 or something down those roads.
100%.
Crazy.
There's so many speed cameras around there, and like our clients like, "What's up with speed cameras?" I'm like, I don't speed. Like, I don't. I got no reason to. I worked too hard to get my license, and I guess the only good thing is there's no demerit points. I'm like, oh, what a silver lining! You get $1,000 fee, but there's no demerit points.
Yeah.
Thank you, police. Again, I'm such a stand for the police, but you know, you kind of suck.
Thoughts,
but, yeah.
Connor. Happy thoughts. Remember the 3 doctors?
Yeah, that did help.
It
was nice to watch the 3 docs.
That's a good time. Then 3 good doctorinos. I guess. Yeah, right. Let's loosen up the mood a little bit, Connor. Let's feel good.
Loosey goosey.
Feeling good. Like I should.
Loosey goose.
Never heard.
Loosey goose.
Loosey that's not
goose.
The right sound.
Ooh.
So it feels kind of fucking unfair to do this on Classic Who, but Connor, it's time for everyone's favorite segment. It's Goo for the Week.
Oh boy.
Oh boy. Look, like let's not pick up on all the tiny ass shit. I'm just gonna comment on 2 things that I thought were like really funny, like just silly production errors that I'm just like, how was this not just thought of? One was there's a shot where you literally see that they're in the laboratory in UNIT, and you literally can see the TARDIS doors are open, and you just see the entire like just blackboards inside the TARDIS.
Yeah.
And it's literally a shot that's like straight through it, and that's all you see.
Yes. Classic. Yeah.
And the other thing I thought was whenever they're in the UNIT HQ and UNIT HQ has been teleported to the antimatter world, whenever they open up a door or something and it's a green screen door, the outside is like a desert with like shrubbery and stuff. Whereas when they actually go outside, it's all like quarry. And they look nothing alike.
I see.
And it's like clear blue sky. And then in the quarry, it's just like gray. Yeah.
I love it.
Oh, and there's also like you can really see Omega's mouth underneath his helmet. But then whenever he's talking, you can see his mouth, like his chin going up and down. But when he takes off the helmet, obviously there's no head there.
It's just a chin, just like in the air, just woggling around. Matt Smith.
Did you see anything other than that?
No, I didn't actually. You know, it's funny. I actually wasn't even really looking out for that kind of stuff. I was just like, I was just so, I guess, intrigued to be watching my first Classic episode. So yeah, sure. But no, I didn't. I'll keep an eye out for next week's episode. I don't remember the name of.
The time and the pressure that they had to make these, it's like there's so much of that stuff. So you can't hold it too seriously, but there is just some stuff that slips through that is a bit funnier than others. Do you have any listener reviews, Connor? Much to talk about on that end?
Yeah, I got a little bit of thing.
Okay, yeah, all right. Yeah, because I don't have anything for it. But let's do the segment where we want to hear about... Oh, no, we're skipping a segment. Fuck. Okay, we'll do this now anyways. Guys, this is a segment where we like to talk about what you guys have said over on Twitter and Instagram. Your thoughts on the episode. It's time for Just Twitter Team. Over on Twitter, Three Doctors, which is fair enough. Classic Who's not your thing. If down the line you do feel like you want to share some opinions, it's the first podcast you're listening to from us. Hit us up on Twitter and Instagram. Every week we put a caller out there to know what you guys think of the episodes. Connor, what do you have over on Instagram?
Well, so look, I obviously had a bit of a hectic day, so I did kind of wait a little bit too long to post on Instagram, but I had some little fun things.
Mm-hmm.
I do what I do every week, which is basically chuck up the poll, which I think again is a really fun and easy way for people to vote, because if people don't want to send in full-on reviews, they can just click a little button and that's their vote. So again, I only put up like a couple of, I think it was like maybe 4 hours ago. So do you like the Three Doctors? And it got 100%, so that's good.
Wow,
again, normally I put them up a bit later, so it's a bit more diverse of the voting, but yeah, so I'd take that for the bit. Oh, hang on a minute. Oh, wait, my bad. No, sorry, that's it. They changed the polls on Instagram, and now the 0 looks like an 8, but it's just a 0. So yeah, it was 100%. It looks like an 8 now. The 0. I don't know why they changed it, but either way. And I got one comment from Shane saying, "Great, given the time period." So I basically said, any thoughts on the Three Doctors? And he said, "Great, given the time period." I didn't even know Shane watched Classic Who's. That's cool.
There you go.
Very agree. That's all I got. Yeah. Again, I'll make more of an effort next week to post a bit closer. Sorry, a bit later before filming, but I'm sure you can let it slide.
And look, I know a lot of like our regular listeners don't watch Classic Who, so
what's this shit?
I am expecting the episodes not to do as good in the ratings, maybe, and also that we weren't going to get as many reviews in. But if you do want to send them through, then do it. And also a great thing to do would be to just watch the episodes with us if you never watched them before, and then send in your review.
Like me.
That could be a lot of fun. All right. All of Classic Who has an infinite amount of behind the scenes out there. There's all little nuggets of information. There's so many documentaries on every single story. Like, if you thought the RTD era had great behind the scenes, mate, Classic Who literally has like at least an hour-long documentary per story about how it was made, and even more than that, all sorts of behind-the-scenes stuff. People talk about them endlessly at panels and stuff like that. So I've just picked up a few nuggets that I found around the interwebs, just to give you a little bit of trivia about the making of the episode, and just trivia about the episode. This is the segment that we like to call Behind the Scenes. So behind the scenes, Omega was originally going to be called as in OHM, capital letters.
Oh my God.
Because it's the word who if you flipped it upside down.
Aye.
How fucking clever. That was then later used for some,
I like it.
For some name in a book somewhere. The second Doctor's companion, Jamie, was supposed to return and have a romance with Joe on the TARDIS. But Fraser Hines was busy filming Emmerdale. So they never got to do it. Most of his lines and stuff were given to Sergeant Benton. That's why Sergeant Benton ended up with such a big role in the episode.
I see. Okay.
And he was with Joe for a lot of it. They did try and squeeze in a cameo. They were going to have Fraser at the end. So Fraser plays the companion Jamie. They were going to have Jamie come in at the end and be like, "Doctor, come on, we need to go back." And then that was going to be just his little cameo. But apparently they couldn't even work that out in the scheduling. It was that crazy. So weirdly, even though this is the 10th anniversary of this event of Doctor Who, the episode aired roughly 11 to 10 months before the anniversary. So this aired from December to January 1970. Well, January 1973, basically. Just because they wanted to do it to kickstart the 10th series, basically. And that's when the 10th series started. So that's how it happened. But you wouldn't get that these days, like it's always going to be from now on.
Yeah, again, yeah. You could get rid of, you could get away with it, I think, a bit more back then. But yeah.
Totally. So Patrick Troughton and John Pertwee didn't actually get along at first. Their acting styles differed quite a bit. And Patrick Troughton was all about ad-libbing and having fun. And Pertwee was like he was very firm on the script and wanted to do what was in the script and stuff. And then like apparently one time Pertwee got mad that Troughton changed the line. And Troughton was like, "Why are you worried about what I'm saying? You should be worried about what you're gonna say." But over the course of the serial and over time and over conventions or what, I don't even know if they had conventions back then, but like just over time, they grew to be very good friends.
Isn't it that classic photo of Patrick Troughton chasing John Pertwee with like a jug of water?
I don't know.
You haven't seen that?
I don't
Really?
know.
Okay.
Well, apparently, it must have been conventions I was reading at.
Yeah.
Apparently, at conventions they used to play into it as well, and they used to bicker a bit at conventions, even though they were like friends by that point. So much so that in the Five Doctors they didn't meet until like the very last scene, which they were disappointed with because by that time they were really good friends, but they didn't have them meet to like the last big climactic scene. So then lastly, this is William Hartnell's last acting role. He died in 1975, so 2 years after this came out. So it's very sad.
Him,
yeah. But what an origin of Doctor Who, and I can't wait to watch more of his time on the show as well.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah.
So, what would you rate it out of 10 then, Connor? The Three Doctors.
I'm gonna give it a 7.5 out of 10.
Wow, really? That high? You enjoyed it that much?
I really did. Yeah. I was so worried we wouldn't have much to talk about as well. So clearly, I really liked it. So much to love about it, and I'm really interested to see what happens next week. See if was it a fluke? Tune in next week to find out.
We'll find out.
Let's see. Oh yeah.
Well,
what about you?
I'm also going to give it a 7.5. I think it's endless fun. Barrels of fun. Nothing to take too seriously. And that's the point of it. It's just a lot of fun, which I appreciate.
I approve this message.
Everyone
I'm
brings their
Ray
A game
Johnson right now.
It's good fun.
Yeah.
Oh God. I like your Polaroid wall behind you. Looks good.
Yeah, that's been my my little project that I've been doing. It's hard because like I used to have like 3 different sections where I would like put like a little bit there, a little bit over there, a little bit over there. And now I got my walls all painted a few weeks ago. I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna do like a big wall. And then when I run out of space, I'm gonna start on the other one. But it's been really difficult. My Polaroids literally have been off my wall for about a year, and they kind of just like sat in the corner of my room. And literally, it was a week before I was about to put them back on my wall, and I was bouncing my stress ball in my room, and I hit it too hard, and it smacked my fan, and it just flew perfectly to the pile of Polaroids, and they went everywhere like a deck of cards.
Oh God!
And so I spent a good solid at least 3 hours going through and stacking them in order. They start all the way from 2017 all the way up to this year now, 2022. So I had to go through a lot. I had to take a few out as well because I've got a girlfriend now. So, there was a few old faces on there which I couldn't get back on the wall. And some of it was kind of hard to see. I've got people on there who I'm not friends with anymore. And but I had this saying where, of course, I couldn't do it with everybody, but I used to have this saying where I said, if it's on the wall, it stays on the wall. So I've got some people on there who I'm not really friendly with anymore. Nor do I think they really like me very much. But I was like, hey, that's part of history, and if it's not hurting anybody, I'll keep them up there. So yeah, it's been pretty interesting putting them back up. You're in quite a few of them as well.
I need to be in more. I need to be in all of them. You need an Aidan wall.
Yeah, well, like I said, that I didn't really they were off the wall for a year. So in that time I was like, I'm gonna take a lot less because otherwise it's gonna keep stacking up. So I've got about, I think, 700.
Wow.
And once I put them all up, I can start taking more again. I used to take them like there was like no tomorrow.
Yeah.
But yeah. So it's been a cool little project. I've used so much blue tack. Um, it's been worth it. It looks good. This one's nearly done, so I'll start on that one soon. But yeah,
Awesome.
thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Looks awesome. It's a cool background. You.
Thank you. Thank
All
you.
right, Connor. I hope you have a much better day tomorrow.
I fucking hope so. I don't think it can get worse than today, quite
that's
frankly. It's
pretty
probably the
fucking
worst
rough.
I've had in maybe years. So
Yeah. That's a lot.
I know. Thank you, man. I appreciate that. And thank you for watching, everybody.
Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Leave us a review wherever you listen to us. We're the 50% Doctor Who podcast. Find us on Twitter and Instagram at 50Doctor, on YouTube at 50% Doctor Who podcast. Connor is on Twitter at Hannum Connor. I'm on Twitter at Greenie_Pro. Next week we're doing City of Death. So if you fancy a little, a little European, a little bit of classic Who goes to France.
Bonjour.
With Tom Baker. A little bit of Bonjour. A little bit of Mona Lisa.
You better wear a beret.
Yeah, you better. If you're not wearing a fucking beret in next week's episode, mate,
I'll do my best to find one.
We'll have to. We should both try and do something really French, like have some kind of prop that's French.
I shit you not. I was going to again. I had a really shit day, but I was gonna shave my beard and leave my moustache like the brig. As a fun joke, but I didn't come in to film with you. I thought it would look a bit shit through Zoom. But I was gonna do that and be like the Briggs Tash with like no beard. So I will try and do something next week with the old French.
I think that'll be funny. Yeah.
Bonjour.
Do something. Cool.
I love it.
Thank you so much for listening, everybody. This is the part now where we do our really, really lame outro, but it's a lot of fun. Connor, count us in.
All right. And a 1, and a 2, and a skilly diddly do. It's Aidan and Connor's podcast.
They're doing Doctor Who reviews.
My plates are gone.
Doctor Who reviews. Rip Connor. Rip Connor.
Rip Connor.
Rip Connor. Thanks so much, everybody.